Mr. Zaki Hafiz has his Bachelor of Architecture in Architecture and Design from UGM, Universitas Gajah Mada, Indonesia in 2012. And then he has his Master of Architecture in Emergent Technologies and Design from AA School of Architecture in 2017. Oh, wow. So young. He is the co-founder of Dorks Lab, Yogyakarta, and currently in 2012 to 2014 he is the research assistant di Departemen Arsitektur dan Perencanaan UGM. Maaf tercampur-campur. Beliau juga adalah researcher di Honfab Lab, betul? Jogja, dan sempat juga menjadi desain intern di Budi Pradono Architects Jakarta, betul ya, di 2011. Experience, beliau pernah mengikuti ISAJA Summer School Program di Ritsu Meikan University di 2013. Guest artist di 13th Istanbul Biennale di Istanbul, Turki 2013. Beliau juga research program by Dorks Lab and Conf, Outpost 39, Kronologi Disaster, Independent Archive and Resource Center Singapore. Okay. For the second speaker, I would like to invite Mr. Andrew Tirta. Please, Mr. Andrew. Beliau kakak kelas saya, walaupun umurnya jauh sekali kayaknya. He has his Bachelor of Architecture Engineering from Parahyangan University. He is currently a professional architect. He has his Master of Architecture and Urbanism from AA School of Architecture London in 2004. There are so many famous names in his employment list. There is Kenyan, Tiara Hamzah Kenyan, in 1998, architect and curator in urban facade installation in Jakarta. Niken Seke International Singapore in 2001, Andra Martin Architect in 2002, Art Studio and Urbanism Singapore in 2002, Proslov Grove Studio Arts London in 2003, City Architects London in 2004, March Field Architects London in 2004 to 2008, and akhirnya Director of ILATAJ Jakarta. ILATAJ stands for Interlinkages of Aptitudes Towards Arrays of Architectural Juxtapositions. Oh, wow. His several achievements, among them are karya terpilih di Festival des Architectures France 2004, semi-finalist for Far Eastern International Digital Architecture Design Award in 2003, pemenang National Library Board Building Singapore in 1998 with Tiara Hamzah Kenyan. Beliau juga mengajar bersama profesional baik di AA School maupun di Indonesia, menjadi beberapa juri kompetisi, guest critic dan co-curator, mengikuti banyak sekali workshop dan seminar. Saya nggak bisa sebutkan satu-satu, nanti selesai jam 6 hanya untuk bacakan workshop dan seminarnya. Lalu karya-karyanya juga sudah diliput di berbagai media banyak banget. Silahkan Google Bapak Andrew Tirta. For our third speaker, I would like to invite Ibu Imelda Akmal. Please, Ibu Imelda Akmal, welcome to the stage. She has a Bachelor Degree in Architecture from Universitas Trisakti. Angkatannya nggak usah disebut Ibu. Nggak usah. Certificate of Interior Decoration, RMIT. Master of Business Management from Swinburne University of Technology, Melbourne, Master of Architectural History, Theory and Critique from AA School of Architecture. For employment, beliau pernah menjadi editorial staff di majalah Femina, penulis buku arsitektur dan desain interior untuk Gramedia, senior editor Art and Living di Harper's Bazaar, founder dari studio Imelda Akmal Architectural Writer, founder dari penerbit Borneo, Direktur Imaji Books Publishing, Chief Editor dari Archinesia Bukezi, Head of Information System and Public Relation Division IAI 2015 sampai sekarang. Beliau juga co-founder dari Green Building Council Indonesia (GBCI) dari 2009 sampai sekarang. Beberapa achievement yang akan saya bacakan. Jadi beliau pernah mendapat Gramedia Writer Award untuk kategori Young and Innovative Writer di 2004. Silver Awards untuk buku Ruang Makan, Honorable Mention Award di kategori Media Leader in Architecture, finalis di kategori Culture and Arts, Australian Embassy, Australian Alumni Awards in 2008, pembicara di PAM Design Forum, Kuala Lumpur Architecture Forum di tahun lalu 2016, inisiator Arkinesia and PAM Roundtable Discussion 2016, pembicara di Australian Institute of Architects Convention, Darwin Convention Center, Darwin in 2016, dan menerbitkan lebih dari 100 publikasi di Indonesia dan internasional. Ini kalau dibaca sampai minggu depan ya, nggak selesai. Terima kasih. Jadi, bagaimana caranya sesi kedua ini? Sesi kedua ini, masing-masing pembicara akan menyampaikan presentasinya secara bergantian. We will start with Mr. Zaki Fatis, and then continue by Pak Andrew, dan terakhir Ibu Imelda Akmal itu akan menjadi presenter yang ketiga. Saya tadi sempat sebutkan bahwa judul dari presentasinya Bapak Zaki Fatis ini adalah Bio-Inspired Design, Experimentation through Analog and Digital Computation. Mr. Andrew Tirta, his presentation title is What's New? And then Ibu Imelda Akmal, her presentation title is Role of Photography for Better Streetwear Design. Okay, then we will just start with the first presenter, Bapak Zaki Fatis. Silakan waktu dan.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm so happy to be here, and thanks for the fantastic introduction and the invitation. So in this session, I'd like to present to you about, in the beginning, about the a brief what I will present, and how I situate my work in the architectural area through several projects that I conducted with my colleagues in Dove Lab or in AA. So I think that's the structure of the presentation. So, and then I need this one. So I will start by So, let's say we are living with this unique yet super intelligent creature. I call it natural world, both biological life and organic world such as plant, and the ability to adapt and respond to the environment in such a way has triggered our curiosity to understand these phenomena, such as the movement pattern of the birds that are controlled by simple rules, and then the amazing and beautiful pattern of flocking bird, and the growth pattern of mushroom, and so on. And in architecture, this phenomena actually have been studied over many centuries. The designer and architect sees nature as a structural, functional, and decorative of endless inspiration. From Gaudi with tree-like columns for Sagrada Familia, to Freodo with his experimentation with soap bubble, minimal form, and so on. So, in the other hand, we already moved from the industrial age to information age, a time when a confluence of unique fields is giving a designer and an architect access to tools we've never touched before. A time when finally we can decode nature understand the pattern through simulation and evaluation. So in here, I look at computation as a basic definition, which means the act or process of information. So this is also shift our perspective about design. From design, think about machine of living to synthetic of nature. From design that from discrete parts to continuous element, and from the single system to how to integrate the system. It's like from the prototyping, robotic fabrication, how to integrate with nature. So in my lab, we try to focus on these three subjects that has direct access to the computational tools. The relation between digital and physical is allowing us to mimic nature through prototyping. Digital and material lets us design and program the material from its capacity, and design and biology allow us to improve our design through evaluation processes and the confluence of the subject that I'm going to try to develop in my latest research. So today I'm going to take you to the rapid journey throughout our project, and I've organized this project in order of complexity. So in the first part, I will present the straightforward project, and then going more complex. So first thing, this is our first experiment. I call it prototyping, and this funny thing is when we want to do this research, the idea first, how to make it cool of the experiment, and so we set the time for the research between 2 and 3 months maximum, and then so this one, we already know some plants have a capability to respond to external factor through motion, such as heliotropism. Is a seasonal of plant, bud, flower, and leaf in response to the direction of the sun. So the idea in this research is how to imitate this particular system and apply them to architectural elements. So for this project, we use these 5 tools. The simple one, as you know, with different tasks like camera processing, grasshopper rhino, and Arduino. So it began with capturing image from camera and send direct to processing to change, to convert it to black and white image so that we could use the color range value in grasshopper. And then here, in computational design tool, we as a designer have a fully control to manipulate the data. We mapping value, reverse adding it, even converting it to another data. So the green sphere there work as a attractor. So where the closest the distance between the triangle component to the circle, the smallest opening they produce. So this is the installation that we built. Its length around 2.5 meters, and it made almost 200 ribbons, 7 servos, and to actuate the ribbons. So the funny thing, I think this is quite interesting because here architecture is not seen as a static form, but rather as a dynamic system that can respond to the external factor. So it creates the interaction between architecture and human. So the second project, I call it active matter. So I wanted to quote from Freire. As an architect, you must understand the difference between what we did and what occurred in autonomous processes. So if we don't know the process of form generation, the architect lacks control over his own doing. So in this project, I wanted to show an alternative process of form generation in which employing material as a design driver within design process. So this figure shows a fiber arrangement in 3 branches, and then as you can see in the bottom part of this diagram, showing the 2 types of fiber arrangement in different locations. Okay, so the top one, the upper one is like fiber that winding each other, while the other ones showing the fiber merged from two sides. So if we zoom out a little bit, the relation between fiber arrangement and these traces that apply in one location, you can see that here. So basically, a tension that happens in upper part generates a unique pattern that enhances the structural performance of the brand as a whole system. So here we start off sort of extract the information and apply it and utilize it in our new material. This is like a fiber composite. Basically, it composed of 2 different characteristics of materials. We use fiber nets that is very flexible, and latex works as the matrix to reinforce the nets to stay in particular shape. So here, as you can see, the experiment, we did several tests of the experiment with various type of fiber arrangement. The aim of this research is to understand the material behavior. So basically, we want to know from the locally how to material behave. So we can, in global scale, we can, let's say, hack the shape and so on. So surprisingly, that by I'm sorry.
Okay, presentasinya Pak Zaki, Mr. Zaki's presentation I have downloaded it. The size of the presentation is around 700 mega, so
It's full of video.
it took me all night just to download this presentation. And yeah, perhaps this part is a video. Yeah.
It's working.
Some of the videos are very large size, so perhaps. Yeah. Okay, yes, continue.
Sorry for the problem. So surprisingly, that by simply introduce a new layer in which its orientation contradicts with initial pattern, it could produce a double curve surface, where in architecture double curve is very expensive, you know. So in here we just locally adding a layer and orient it, and we can get a double curve. So digital analysis helps us to evaluate which part that needs to be reinforced, and so we test using Karamba to understand which part that from Karamba we can get the material utilization. So we can know which part that has to be reinforced. Okay. So in here, I think I will conclude this research that by material, we can see material as a not only as a passive receptor of pre-designed shape, but rather as an active generator in design process. So the third part is like I call it evo evolution development. So it's the concept in which using the evolutionary model of nature as the generating process of architectural form. Architectural concepts are expressed as generative rules so that their evolution and development can be accelerated and tested by the use of computer models. So basically nature has the ability to evolve and develop the form through evolution from the single volume to 100 subdivision, from super small eggs to become a tadpole. Each tadpole, it seems that they have kind of intelligent procedure that lies in the system. So actually there are similarities between biology and digital. In biology, there's a genome, and digital we call it binary, as maybe you already know. So they share similar procedure to enable the process. This code yields a million output allowing specific script of instruction to simulate and evaluate the performance in a simulation environment. So the key concept behind the evolutionary process is the genetic code. So various parameters are encoded in the string-like structure where the rules of reproduction, gene crossover, mutation, and everything are embedded within the code in a specific location, call it a body plan. And finally, the value change with generative process and it produces a unique individual called phenotype. So how to implement it here in architectural scale? That's the question. So basically the gene pool is like a specific instruction in architecture. As you can see that there's array, scale, offset, and so on. A body plan where each part that we want to evolve, and then this one, what's the fitness criteria. So in the GA process, the central issue is the modeling of the inner logic rather than external form. Other equally important is the conflicting criteria and how the defined criteria operate for the selection of the fetus. The selection organism that fit for the defined criteria then will be passed into generation to the optimum phenotype. So the benefit of this using computational design is that we can have many model that are generated, which are then selected from the general population based on the predefined fitness criteria. So the nice thing here is like evolution is not happened by the natural selection as in nature, but rather as a design evolution happened as a design, where a very large number of evolutionary steps can be generated in sort of space of time, and the emergent form are often unexpected. So the last one is how to like integrate all of the subject into one. So I call it a living. So this is my thesis project. Call it the synthesis of rapid and slow prototyping. The idea is how to combine between natural process such as crystallization and with the robotic fabrication. So in our research, my focus is how to use salt as a building material, because as you know, like 2/3 of our Earth covered by water and a lot of sea and so on. And so there's abundant resources on that. So how to use that and how to develop that, explore that. This idea is how to design a process that is not linear, but how the process is like an ecosystem that everything really integrated with other, and yeah, as you see, there's a material, structure, fabrication, and so on. How they integrate in one system, and there's like a looping in the design process. So the idea is I divided into 3 steps: micro, meso, and macro, in where every skill is like focused on particular subject. So talking about the material as how to build material as how to make salt as building material. So basically we need water and the binder. So we test this one. We test the binder through molding technique to understand which binder works the best, and also we test the extrusion, manual extrusion, to understand how much capacity of its material. So surprisingly, that when the material is really pure enough, the properties is like it always has the same like the brick. So you can imagine this material is like good enough as a building material, and there's another performance which is translucency and so on. So it's very interesting. And the last one is like we try to test the slow prototyping technique, which is crystallization. Here we test with the different medium like a fabric and a nets, ABS, and we can see the quality of the translucency here. So the idea is how to combine between rapid and slow prototyping to get into a one system that really integrated. So the next thing is we have to understand the morphospaces of the robot. So basically, we have to understand the area, the maximum area of the robot. And also we design an effector. This is basically compression-based an effector. There's three parts that's very important. The first one is like this one, the tube, and the second one is the heat gun, and third one is the nozzle. So this is the image when the end effector attached to the robot. So we test. So we test the tool path in the grasshopper using KUKA PRC to know to understand the behavior of the robot, and then after that, after we get so this is we test the material using the robot, exact robot. There's a little bit problem in the first, but then we can make it. After we're done with the vertical extrusion, we try to extrude in the special. In the first part is quite good, but actually there is a problem with an effector that it can't bring in the like 45 degree because the material is not hard enough. So this is the result when after we print everything and we try to spray the salinity of salt in this structure. As you can see, the crystals start to grow, and that's quite beautiful in first. And then we try to push again and how to develop our structure through many patterns from different pattern. What pattern that can emerge from this one? So this is the result. So the idea is how to take this small experiment to a large scale, how to print from the prototype to architectural scale. So we try to propose several techniques. Basically, we need to have a rail for the robot to moving, and there's a use scissor leaf robot, and this one I will conclude by maybe in the future, architecture is not seen as a static building, but how architecture can grow over time. So the program could change every years, and thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mr. Zaki. Deep down in my heart, I don't understand. Tapi luar biasa ya, menyenangkan sekali mengikuti runutan pemikirannya gitu ya. Saya nggak ngerti, nggak apa-apa. Toh memang tujuan dari simposium yaitu ya kita memang menabrakkan ide-ide baru di sini gitu ya. Jadi kalau misalnya ada ide-ide segar seperti Kang Zaki, kalau di sini kita manggilnya, muncul dengan desain yang terkomputasi dan fabricated seperti itu gitu ya. Jadi luar biasa gitu. Harusnya sekarang tiba-tiba di dalam kepala kita sudah muncul teks pertanyaan banyak gitu ya. Tahan dulu, nanti kita buka session Q&A setelah ketiga presenter kita mempresentasikan presentasinya. Nah, saya langsung lanjutkan. I will continue to our second speaker, Mr. Andrew Tirta, with presentation title is What's New? Thank you.
Terima kasih. Thank you for representatives from the AA as well as from IPB for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. Saya lulus dari AA itu 2004, jadi udah lama. Mungkin beda banget kali sama Zaki yang benar-benar fresh from the oven. Tahun ini baru aja keluar dari AA. Tapi dulu waktu saya lulus dari AA, saya presentasi pekerjaan saya. Saya melihat wajah-wajah yang mirip kalian. Ini orang ngomongin apa sih? Tapi ya sejalan dengan waktu ya, Zaki menurut saya presentasinya luar biasa, tesisnya luar biasa. Pasti kamu akan digest juga hasilnya dan bagaimana bisa convey apa yang sifatnya self-referential ke demand di society. So the title of the lecture is the presentation is What's New. I think it's a very basic question dengan apa yang dilakukan EE dan apa yang dilakukan hal-hal yang dilakukan seperti oleh Zaki adalah eksperimen dalam desain. Saya juga dulu saya juga dulu sekolah di Parahyangan di Bandung, the campus sedikit utara dari sini. Dulu saya di Parayangan itu, saya bersama teman-teman itu banyak marahnya gitu. Kenapa sih desain kita kayak gini-gini aja? Kenapa nggak lain gitu loh? Bukannya justru mahasiswa tuh bukannya pengen bikin yang udah jadi, tapi bikin sesuatu yang baru seperti yang dilakukan oleh Zaki gitu loh. Jadi spirit eksperimen itu udah ada sejak saya kuliah. Saya tahun terakhir bersama Pak Abang, that was my final year, and I did my thesis and also my final project with him on the topic of memorial architecture. Jadi waktu saya di Parayangan itu saya cuti 1 semester. Saya kerja di Kuala Lumpur untuk Kenyang, mungkin semuanya udah tahu. Dan di sini saya determinasi, saya harus S2 di EE. Karena kebetulan di Ken itu banyak sekali graduates from the EE, SL from Columbia or from UCL. Jadi dari sejak sebelum saya lulus tuh saya udah mimpi untuk ke EE. Dan satu hal yang perlu saya sampaikan di sini, kalau magang itu harus kerja praktek dan minimal semester. Jangan datang lagi, banyak sekali lamaran datang minta kerja praktek cuma sebulan atau 2 bulan. You're not gonna get anything. Di EE, if you were to get a year out itu 1 tahun minimum. Jadi penting sekali ya dunia magang atau dunia apprenticeship, belajar dari senior di disiplin arsitektur itu sangat penting. Ini program yang saya jalanin, EADRL. Ini waktu saya masuk dean dari EE itu adalah Moisen. Sekarang Moisen jadi dean di Harvard. Ada satu kata penting yang dia sampaikan waktu itu yang saya selalu ingat adalah if you were gonna study here, you come, you go to what you want to do, you go to the lecture and then you go for crit and then you go home. It's not gonna happen. Jadi di EE itu almost every day itu ada lectures, kita bisa lihat presentations from other units, from other classes. Itu yang menurut saya yang akan memperkaya pengalaman belajar. Jadi kalau kalian habis ini lanjut studi kemana atau di sini pun jangan stay di satu tempat, perkaya pikiran kalian kemana-mana sebanyak mungkin. Lalu quote yang saya jadikan judul itu adalah ini Brad ini pada saat saya sekolah dia adalah he was the head of DRL, program yang saya ambil. Saat ini dia jadi dean di EE dan mungkin selanjutnya di UCLA. Dan saya ingat sekali hampir tiap hari dia datang, he would come to our studio, do a bit of inspection, and the first question would be what's new. So it's a very basic question, but it forces you to think what you want to do. Has it been done before? Has it been done before by yourself, or has it been done before by others? Ini ada other teachers when I was studying there. There's Patrick ini sekarang he's leading Zaha Hadid Architects. That's Tom Berbush, he's based in Shanghai now. Theo, who's now leading DRL, and Yusuke, who's now in the University of Tokyo. So these were my teachers when I was there. Satu hal yang saya rasa sangat berbeda di EE adalah you are in an architecture school, but you're not really discussing about buildings. Arsitektur bukan mengenai bangunan, architecture itu mengenai sistem, mengenai material, dan banyak hal-hal lainnya mengenai performance, mengenai flow, mengenai diagrams. Bahkan the end results of drawings and models is also architecture. This was my thesis. As you can see, it is very immaterial. It was about particles and flows in the airport. This got project distinction. It was exhibited in the Netherlands and it was exhibited in Shanghai, and it won an award in Taiwan and in France. Jadi saya di London itu 7 tahun, saya sekolah 2 tahun, sisanya saya kerja di berbagai tempat. I used to work for Ross Grove, who's a world famous product designer. Lalu I was working for Chris Lee. He's a Malaysian, now based in London. he also teaches at the AA as well as the. Yeah, he's in Harvard now. And then I spent a long time in Marx Warfield Architects. So I came back here in 2009. So this is I think the name is very important. I believe in a collaboration between different disciplines, and I believe in research that you have to keep doing. You have to keep doing. You have to keep making. That way you can compare between the results that you've made. So these are the works that we have come up with. As you can see, it is quite diverse. It starts from interior to fashion, to exhibitions, and of course to buildings. We have always been a small team, between 5 to 10, so it's a studio culture. Our works have been published by media. This one is by Imelda Akmal's publication. So I will just show some projects. Start with the first video. Ini proyek di Bekasi, hotel. Kita diassign untuk mengerjakan interiornya. Kliennya waktu itu Sumarekon. Kita lihat bagaimana the stair merges into a bar. Lampu ini akhirnya direalisasi with hundreds of solid glass cylinders. Oke, saya kembali ke presentasi. So I'll just show you some more photos of the project. So this was published in Four magazine, Singapore-based magazine. So kita lanjut ke pekerjaan berikutnya. Ini sebuah kantor. It's an office in BSD. They have quite a rather large area that is all dedicated for offices, and this is one of them. This is the highlight, which is all copper cladded stairwell. We start with this shape. This shape is a horseshoe shape that is highly functional and operative to be used for architectural profiles. Jadi kita ajukan to the client to use this shape as a concept. This horse shape is applied on different elements, different scales, different uses, but it always repeats across the project. This project will also be published by another Singapore magazine, D+A. So, some more pictures of the project. Okay, so I have also been teaching, not full-time, but occasionally. This was some of the students' work that we did in Shanghai, also another AA visiting school. Some of the works that we did in Hong Kong for the Hong Kong Shenzhen Biennale. This was in BINUS in Jakarta. This was a fashion department. This is one of the students' work with laser cutter. So we have been interested in computational design. So we provide the service for other consultants as well. This is a project that we did with Urbane. So Ridwan Kamil came to us and asked whether we could develop a scheme for a stadium in Senayan for the Aquatic Center. So we came with two options. The project wasn't realized though in the end. Also similarly, this was for a discovery center in Taman Mini, also from Urbane, from Ridwan Kamil. This was a work that we did with Ocean Consultancy Network, the one based in China. We had an exhibition, so we were given the responsibility to design the exhibition stage. So based on those skills, I'm going to show you our last project. This is also very fresh in Kemang. So this is in Lipo Mall Kemang. It's already built, so you have a chance whenever you're in Jakarta to have a visit. So it's mungkin everybody knows about Ahok, who was recently jailed. Ahok has been well known among developers to stop projects because they violate the regulations. So Lipo wanted to build a glazed roof, but that was stopped by Ahok, and because it exceeded the number of building coverage area, you see. So what we came up with is not to do a glazed roof, but actually to provide lantern canopies or lantern lightings. And nearby there's an apartment building. So the apartment kept getting, the mall kept getting complaints from the apartment about noise and lights from the stage. So this canopy was set up in two layers. One was to stop noise, and the other was to provide comfort from the solar, from the sun. So noise is supposed to bounce from the canopies. So from the existing structure, we start to provide a second grid, and then start to lay out the two layers of the modules. So as the name of the place, we developed the module based on the star shape. It would be hung from the steel grid. This project, I would say, was our first project that is almost 100% designed and manufactured computationally. So this is a solar analysis that we did to demonstrate how the canopy actually provide a lot more comfort zone in the plaza, because eventually this is currently quite popular to be used as an alfresco area. It's a shadow analysis. So apart from the canopies, we were also appointed to design a stage. Also, we did with the same method. Jadi kalau dari ITB yang banyak skill computational boleh kirim lamaran. Ntar tersalurkan bakatnya. Oke, saya tutup dengan foto-foto ya. Ya, saya balik lagi dengan kata-kata yang selalu ada, what's new. Terima kasih.
Seger ya. Oke, kita callback idea-nya dulu ya sedikit ya. Dapat apa tadi? Idenya mungkin ini ya, yang paling penting itu ternyata kita nggak mendesain itu nggak melulu untuk saat ini aja gitu ya. Kayaknya kita mendesain itu mungkin harus agak loncat sedikit pemikirannya gitu ya Pak Andrew ya. Maksudnya kita mendesain untuk 50 tahun ke depan jangan-jangan gitu. Kalau misalnya desain kita udah obsolete tahun depan gitu, udah kadaluarsa, jangan-jangan yang salah adalah arsiteknya. Jadi yang harus dilakukan apa? Jangan-jangan yang harus dilakukan adalah selalu challenging our minds to find new progressive ideas in designing gitu ya mungkin ya. Jadi keep in mind the title of Mr. Andrew's presentation just now, what's new? Okay, now we continue with our third speaker, Ibu Emilia Akmal. The title of her presentation is the role of photography in streetwear, designing streetwear. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for Naira from A School and also ITB who asked me to present this today. It's an honor. It's quite a long time that I haven't been back to London yet. So I really miss evening lecture, as you said, because every day we got evening lecture in the school. So sorry. Yes, my presentation today is a bit light, so don't worry. It's about photography. I know people now really love photography, especially selfie, because all our phone now has a camera, and really good camera actually. So how to use it? Maybe need to training what this word. Okay, that's nice. Right. I can continue without with the screen for a while. I'd like to introduce my. You can continue. My work. Hopefully, you know that we are running publication called Arkinesia. Arkinesia is English architecture magazine based in Indonesia and cover about Southeast Asia countries architecture issue. So it's good you focus in Southeast Asia, right? I believe this is the only one architecture magazine cover Southeast Asia, but because the other is about Asian. Right. So my presentation today based on my thesis. When I was at our AA school in 2009. And so if you're from AA, so you must be very familiar with the room, right? It's very tiny and very was an intimate room because we are quite small school actually. So I continuing this research to respond for this AA school research program in Bandung with topic streetwear Southeast Asia. My thesis in 2009, based on theory from Roland Barthes, that he has a quite strong argument about photography. His statement that the role of photography is not just making nice image, but also delivering message which he described using the expression message without code. So in the architectural publication, the message is the object that can represent a photograph construction architecture discourse and criticism. So saya punya argumen, saya berpegang kepada teori Roland Barthes ini mengatakan bahwa sesungguhnya fotografi itu bukan buat cantik-cantik aja, bukan buat selfie-selfie, tapi kita bisa gunakan untuk di kursus arsitektur dan juga kritik arsitektur. Tentu ada caranya. So how do photograph reveal architecture discourse and criticism? It depends on the object photograph, how the shot is taken, and which photo are selected. So ada teknik-tekniknya, bagaimana kita memotretnya, bagaimana kita memilihnya, dan bagaimana kita menggunakannya juga. So there must be some certain approach using photography as architecture discourse and criticism. As a case study, when I did thesis at a school, I used a photograph by Iwan Baan. He's a very, very famous architecture photographer from Holland, from Amsterdam. At that time, also have in the world, we hear the famous building is Beijing Olympic Stadium at that time. So I selected 3 publications at that time. At the same time, in July 2008, they published this building and all become cover. And they cover this one, make an article, main article for the issue. So the comparison of magazine will show more clearly how photograph could construct architecture discourse and criticism. Bagaimana mengkritik arsitektur lewat fotografi yang saya pilih di sini. So this is a sample from A+ Japan. In here, A+U make an article as architecture design article. So they select this photograph and this photograph and also the drawing to tell the story about the design and how it's being constructed, bagaimana dia dibangun dan seperti ini. Ini it's very common in architecture publication to show the project like this, right? And also for architecture review from UK. Architecture Review is one of the oldest architecture publication in the world. A similar time published with Architecture Record from US. I think now it's over 150 years now. So similar with A+U, Architecture Review also talking about design and architecture in the building. Showing the detail with the photographs, showing the grandiose of the building, support by architecture drawing, and also it shows after it's finished with the audience inside the building. But it's quite different if you look at carefully. It's quite different when Architecture Record from US also get the same photograph, the same collection photograph from same photographer, which is Iwan Baan. Here, Architecture Record telling and selected totally different photograph. So it focuses on the human, on the people, as we can see here, because it supports what they like to tell the story, behind the story of the building. So we saw the construction photograph before, but it's totally different because it's focused on the people who work there. What the article, what they like to argue is they like to question who is actually used the building, who actually the building built for, and what for. Because in their story, when I read it, the building goal is for the event, the Olympic, and also for the audience. The audience only come for several hours, right? 2 jam, 3 jam, 2 hours, 3 hours to see the sport. But there, the worker, They stay there, they work there over the years, 1 year, 2 years, and they live there. So the question is, who actually live in the building? The audience or the worker? But how the worker live there? How? They are migrant worker, come from other region, come from other province of China, and they are very poor. They have very limited resource to live there. So that's the thesis that I did in a school. It's just quite good in a school is what? Besides, they always ask about, as Andrew said, what's new, what's they gonna do, is had been done before. There's another question that always asked to us is, what your argument, what your debate. So argument is become daily life word with us. It's kayak makan nasi, tiap hari itu tanya, what your argument? What your argument? So not only statement, but what your argument that can provoke the debate. So and for that one, we can do whatever we like. I do the photography because I love photography and I'm doing publication. My friend doing critic architecture using comic. So it's quite fun. So we have comic and photography at the same time. And now for today, for refreshing myself, I'm doing short observation for one particular area in Cikarang, Bekasi, West Java, a satellite city 40 kilometers from Jakarta, and maybe around 80 kilometers from here, where the most traffic jam happen at the moment, make me stuck for 3 hours there today. So this is Cikarang, Bekasi, West Java. This is the city, and this is the regular road they use. But I like to focus on, not this one, but this one. Kota Jababeka, that's very common in Indonesia, that we have master plan town. Okay, so this is in here. Then I took photograph that I like to pick some issue there. Here, if you look at carefully, you can see Hollywood Central. Hollywood? Yeah, right? So, are we in Hollywood? Okay. And here, the name of the cluster is My Fair, the good place in London, right? Okay, where's Indonesian Embassy? My Fair. So, but we also have a common scene here, people in Indonesia cross the road. So I like to show actually about that. And then, here, and the second, I like to show also from the photograph, this photograph like to tell who the road is built for. It's really clear, in Jababeka, the master plan is private car based, not human based. It's really comfortable for the car, but what happens if you walk there? If you see here, how can we feel comfortable walking here? Why? Because the road very wide, the boulevard also very wide, and then after road on the left side here, this is the fence. Behind the fence is the housing, and this is quite wide, and this is very tiny small pathway. You will be feel alone if you walk there, especially here. Imagine during the night, you will feel like walking in the forest. So again, the question: who the city for? What the road is for? Jababeka is the city, is the master plan town focused on industrial area. So here, we can see here, this is the factory. Inside the factory, there is 1,000 people working there, but you cannot see any public, any pathway that people can comfortable to walk there. Even though they didn't think at all about public transport. they don't have shelter for public transport. They don't have terminal, so that they use the public transport, use the road for the shelter, for the terminal. And this particular, I really propose to show this one, that people working here is quite dangerous, right? Because they don't have the facility for the people. And if you using public transport, they say, yeah, no, I prefer using public transport, whatever it is, I will use public transport. How could you go home? Because from the roadside to your home there, it's very far. It's really nice. It's easy to sell if you see the poster, right? You see the newspaper. It's really nice. But imagine how you go home. After you out from the public transport, it's really hard to go to bed. And after that, it's a long way to go to your home. Of course, these are only for car-based master plan. It's going to be really nice if you're taking pictures like a painting. And the junction. I don't know why. They have very, very big roundabouts. It's really good roundabouts, but you will see the video here. So I think I found about 3 or 4 big roundabouts in the complex, but it's not really comfortable to walk there. Even you will see here, we can play. You see here, even I found there is motorcycle doesn't want to follow the flow of the road because it's too long to go to follow the roundabout. See? Yes, there you go. Here. Now in the Facebook social media we can use video, right? To upload even Instagram. Okay, we can cut. Okay, exit from roundabout. I did this observation only for 2 hours in the evening, so you can see the same gloomy day at that time. So exit from the roundabout. Exactly, I found this road. This road, the garden belonged to the development, but this is actually the kampong, the original kampong there. You can see, suddenly we have totally different scene. It's more life, and there is a dialogue between the building and the people and the road here. So, you like to see it? Okay. So they share. So the people feel more comfortable to walk here, even there's no really good design here. But they share here. Of course, some problem also occur because it's quite informal, so people can occupy the pedestrian or whatever they like. But it's also have a proximity between road and the building. And then I go to only one housing street. This is the housing street. I really like this picture. I love this picture. I think it's the best shot that I did at the time. In here, you can see how people share the road. See the smile? She talking with him, and she also just talking with him. It's a kaki lima, pedagang. Then here also the people. So they share the road, then no one afraid with the accident. Dalam jalan-jalan seperti ini, there is no accident. But they share the road peacefully. And I think in the happiness city, that's now very common conversation about happiness city, discussion about happiness city. I think the people here much more happy than the master plan development town. So you student, you must be careful when you develop master plan, okay? So here also the children. the children, the neighborhood, they sharing their time. Okay. They feel very peacefully to work and to work, not like in the master plan development in Jakarta. But extremely, they also, because very informal, they also feel okay to extend their home to the road. So this become like their living room, right? They drink, they sitting here, they put their clothes. It's quite extreme. I back to the road again, and I found very weird here, very vivid here, the activity. Very unique condition actually. You can see here. You know what? In this development, there is a farmer, culture farmer here. This is from different angle, so I like to catch from some different angles. So the attitude, the gesture, totally different with the people who actually occupied this area, this complex, because they are resident of the complex, but they come from the other village, the next door village, and actually very common if you know. Actually, they are used to have this land. They bought by the floor part. So this is also the picture that I like, because you can show what happened in here and what happened in here at the same time, at the same situation. This is the farmer. I talked to him, and I to you to show 1 minute video. He tells the story. Actually, in the past, it was their family land, and he used to have 30 cattle.
Sekarang berapa ekor itu ya? Sekarang berapa ekor?
30 cattle, and they can just let the cattle go in the forest to get the food. But now he only got about 3 cattle because there is no place to the animal get food. We can cut here. So I also see the situation where actually the people who resident, they don't use the road, they don't use the garden, they don't use the here, but people outside from here use the place. Now I like to